to a new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new model from the WatchDives brand, and it is their 007 No Time to Die model. Now, many of you will already know that Heimdallr and Pagani do versions or iterations of these, and they all vary in terms of their quality. Now, I do actually have the Heimdallr version, so where appropriate, I am going to give you a bit of a viewpoint on what the major differences are between these two models, but it's fairly safe to say that these are both really good versions or homages to that Omega Bond watch. Now, if you do have any questions, please put them in the comment section below and I will come back to you. And if you do want to take the time, you're not already a subscriber, please do consider giving us a little bit of a click there. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help our channel out. So without further ado, let's turn the camera around and take a look at this WatchDives No Time to Die 007 watch in a little bit more detail. So here we have the new WatchDives No Time to Die 007 model. Now this watch, in terms of its dimensions, you're looking at a 42mm case, not including that screw down crown. You have a top to bottom lug width of 48.5mm and a thickness of 13.9mm at the highest point of that domed sapphire crystal. One of the biggest selling points about this watch is, of course, the fact that the case is made out of grade 2 titanium. So titanium is very, very difficult to work with, but it is very, very light and hyperallergenic. So if you do struggle with, your watches and getting sweat rashes and that sort of stuff, titanium is definitely the way to go. Now, this watch does actually have a hardened coating on it, very similar to what you'll find on, say, a Citizen with their Duratex coating. Now, the watch crystal is sapphire, and that does also have anti-fingerprint and also a anti-reflective coating on it. Probably the biggest question for those of you who have been looking at this type of watch for some time and maybe having experience of the Heimdallr and especially the first version, there aren't any threading issues with that crown. WatchDives did take a special care to make sure that that was not going to be an issue with their model. I can testify to that. I have screwed this probably 30 times or so, and it's perfectly fine. That being said, I am always really careful when I'm screwing things, and much the same for you guys. If you're going to screw something, make sure you do it properly, guys. But no, jokes aside, the threading issue is non-existent on this particular model. Another point to make early on in this video is the bezel. Now, WatchDives have taken care to try and make this experience as good as possible, but just to set expectations, guys, it isn't going to be the same as what you'll find on a Submariner or something like that. Titanium just does not lend itself to a smooth experience. That being said, it's not entirely atrocious, but it is just very, very different to what you would expect on a steel watch. Staying on the topic of the bezel, that insert is a ceramic insert and it is fully loomed as well. So it does have a slight differentiation to the Heimdallr, which is non-loomed. Both of them, the loom pip is slightly raised. That's probably the one thing I would like to say is that in future versions, WatchDives, if we could have that loom pip recessed into the actual metal insert, that would be really good. If we take a look at the dial, you can see there you do have applied indices. They do have a steel colour to them, but for some reason in the light they actually look a rose gold. I think that's probably because of the loom or something like that, with that beige sort of colour. Dial printing is very good, and you can see you do have like a matte black eggshell style effect dial, which really offsets the sunlight and looks really nice. It's got a very good flat sort of look to it, which I really like. Going back to the actual case, guys, you do have 100 meters of water resistance. The marketing materials say it could go down to 200, and it has a working helium escape valve there on the 11 o'clock position. One thing to note, though, is that at 100 meters of water resistance, or even 200 meters of water resistance, you're not going to need to use that helium escape valve. In terms of overall finishing on the watch case, there weren't really any sharp edges or anything like that. I do like the dull look of titanium. I think it's got a really classy sort of look to it, and certainly something that I enjoy. But like I say, overall finishing really good. The only sharp part that I did feel is on the back of the case, where there is like this hexagonal sort of pattern to it, and I found the corners of those to be a little bit sharp. But other than that, finishing on the case, really nice. That sort of brushed look to it, which I think is, again, very, very good. Going back to the actual case, guys, you do have 100 meters of water resistance. The marketing materials say it could go down to 200, and it has a working helium escape valve there on the 11 o'clock position. One thing to note, though, is that at 100 meters of water resistance, or even 200 meters of water resistance, you're not going to need to use that helium escape valve. In terms of overall finishing on the watch case, there weren't really any sharp edges or anything like that. I do like the dull look of titanium. I think it's got a really classy sort of look to it, and certainly something that I enjoy. But like I say, overall finishing really good. The only sharp part that I did feel is on the back of the case, where there is like this hexagonal sort of pattern to it, and I found the corners of those to be a little bit sharp. But other than that, finishing on the case, really nice, that sort of brushed look to it, which I think is, again, very, very good. So here's the on the wrist footage. For those of you who haven't watched my videos before, I've got a 7¼ inch wrist. At 42 mils though, that's the standard sort of size watch that I'll wear day to day, so I don't think it looks too large. And again, you know, it's a dive watch, so it's going to be a certain size, but I think there probably are plans for WatchDives to bring out a slightly smaller model in the future, so watch this space. Moving to the bracelet, as you can see, it is a Milanese style bracelet, which is faithful to the watch that is homaging. The buckle is not signed, which is a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to have seen the WatchDives logo on there. The one thing I would say, the difference between this and the Heimdall is that this one from WatchDives has I suppose a security mechanism where the pin goes into the bracelet and stops it from moving around. So once you've actually set it to fit you, you pop that little safety pin in, and it keeps it there. The one thing I've noticed with the Heimdall is that doesn't have it, and I have on occasions taken it off and it's sort of slipped out and I've almost dropped it as a result. So closing thoughts, guys. I'm a big fan of this watch. I'll be quite open there. I think for me it's very similar to the No Time to Die, but it's not exactly the same, mainly that top hat crystal and those indices being applied. They are a rather nice finish, colour, rather than what you find on the Heimdall, which are a little bit anemic. This is a lot browner, and as I understand, to be a little bit more authentic to the watch it's homaging. But again, you've got grade 2 titanium case, you've got anti-reflective crystal, you've got hardened coating on the titanium itself, and you've got a really good quality bracelet. Lume is pretty good. It isn't as strong as the Heimdall, I'll give it that, but it will give you plenty of low visibility in low light situations, and you've got that Seiko NH35 movement in there. Now, one thing to point out is that this watch does come either as a date or a no date version. As you can see, I do have the no date version. I think it just makes for a cleaner dial. But other than that, guys, like I say, really nice watch. It is new, so there's probably not that many reviews out, so I hope this has been useful for you. Again, if you do like the content, please do consider subscribing. It would be really useful and helpful for us as a channel. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and I will see you in another video soon. Take care.